What's up, Taiwan? I'm Liao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's economy minister is downplaying concerns that China could slash parts of a trade deal. Beijing has threatened to cancel some benefits under a 2010 trade agreement. It's also extending probes into alleged Taiwan trade barriers until the day before Taiwan's presidential election in January. Economy Minister Wang Meihua says only a few industries will be seriously affected if China backs out of the deal. She says the government is already working with those sectors to change their operations or find different markets. A traditional structure built by Indigenous Pinuyumayan in Taiwan's south has been deemed unsafe and may have to be demolished. But members of the community fear it's just the latest example of a government that isn't doing enough to protect their traditions. Bryn Thomas has the story.
This thatch bamboo structure in Taiwan's southeastern city of Taidong has found itself at the center of a debate between the country's indigenous peoples and the government. It was built 10 years ago by members of Taiwan's indigenous Pinuyumayan people and is an example of their architectural traditions. But buildings like this can no longer be put up legally. It means that fewer are being built, and those that remain, like this one, are in danger of disappearing. The city has asked local indigenous authorities to repair it, but without better funding, they may be forced to tear it down.
当初希望留下，但是也没有人说要去如何找机会维护它。
People here fear it's just the latest example of their culture disappearing. They're calling on the government to change the law to accommodate buildings like this and to provide funding to conserve the few that survive.
透过公部门这边来看，能不能找一些资源来重新再修缮或是改建之类的。
But funding renovations for a single structure doesn't fix a law that many in the community feel is broken. In the end, Taiwan's indigenous peoples are left with the authority to demolish or repair a traditional structure, but not the authority to build one.
我们还是尊重部落，看要怎么拆，有部落的提出来的方案来做处理。
This building in Taidong is an example of a cultural tradition that some feel is being taken apart piece by piece. They're calling on the government to lay a more inclusive foundation built to last. Andy Xue and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
The country has seen its third major hornet attack of the season as calls to public services about sightings of the insect have increased. Scientists are now weighing in on why there's been such a big rise in incidents this year. Jeremy Olivier has more.
Out for a leisurely walk, a hiking group was attacked by a swarm of hornets in the mountainous area of Nantou County in late October. 6 of the 14 people in the group suffered minor injuries.
是2个现场就是被叮比较多包，还会有点喘，而剩下4个人就是比较稍微还好。那我们现场问他们，他们说就是黑色大只的，所以也不太确定到底是土蜂还是虎头蜂这样子。
It's just the latest in a growing number of hornet attacks in Taiwan this season. In one case, in New Taipei, 2 people died from their stings. Asian hornets are a native species in the country. They're usually most active in the late summer and early autumn months, due to the insect's life cycle. Every spring, queens search for suitable places to build nests for their colonies. Once found, they begin raising the first generation of worker hornets, and the colony grows. It reaches the mature stage as summer ends, and hits its peak at the end of autumn. After the male and female hornets mate, the females live through the winter and become the queens of new colonies, while the rest of the original nest dies off. Some scientists say the recent attacks could be related to climate change.
我们最近几年好像很少台风进来，所以最近几年那个虎头蜂的这个数量没有这个天然灾害的影响变多了，而且最近几年我们也发现到说，这个气候暖化，气候这个真的是也造成虎头蜂跟着生态会改变。
Hiking on mountain trails is a major pastime here, one that has become even more popular in the past few years. But though it's an activity with few barriers to entry, there are still risks to be aware of, including wildlife like hornets. Experts say there are a few things hikers can do to keep themselves safe and hornet sting free. Most advise not to use strong perfumes or wear clothing that's too brightly colored. But others say that just getting out of the hornet's line of sight is the most important thing.
它们对于震动、对于气流是敏感的，但虎头蜂的视力其实不是很好。如果你发现这个虎头蜂从正面出来攻击你、追击你，你当然是要反面啊，因为它家在那里。
While wild species are a central part of Taiwan's biodiversity, not all of them mix well with humans. As climate change continues to impact the country's wildlife, people who enjoy its natural scenery should be aware of those effects and how to stay safe. Klein Wong and Jeremy Olivier for TaiwanPlus.
Despite fewer young people speaking Taiwanese Hokkien, one band in Taiwan is using the language to pair traditional music with fresh sounds. Laurel Stewart went to one of their rehearsals.
Combining traditional instruments with Taiwanese lyrics and modern rock, Lilium is a band bringing a contemporary twist to traditional music. While many contemporary artists in Taiwan sing in Mandarin or draw from American influences, they say singing in Taiwanese Hokkien is an important way to stay connected to their roots.
Growing up, I listened to English language songs, but when I try to make my own, I feel like I don't have any connection to those words. And if I don't believe it, I just can't do it.
Mandarin is the most spoken language in Taiwan, followed by Taiwanese Hokkien, also simply called Taiwanese. It's a language that arrived in Taiwan with immigrants from China's southern Fujian province in the 17th century. Taiwanese, Hakka, and Indigenous languages are still spoken in Taiwan, but government efforts in the 1960s to promote Mandarin as the national language meant many people stopped teaching their children these languages. Today, only 30% of people born in the 1990s can speak Taiwanese.
When I was born, my mom was afraid that I couldn't speak good Mandarin like her, because she couldn't speak good Mandarin, and she thinks that makes her embarrassing and bad. So she told my grandmother that I should start with Mandarin first. So that's the thing that my grandmother still talking about recently. She would say that, you speak bad Taiwanese, like, because of your mom.
Ishwar is now actively learning Taiwanese, and he speaks to his family in their mother tongue. And aside from singing in Taiwanese just being good practice, he also says the language is more melodic. Unlike other languages where there's one note for every word, each Taiwanese word can be stretched to fill multiple notes.
So for example, hu we gong ming, like 4 words, but you sing like hu and then the second word, and then another meaningless sound, and then the third word, gong bi, and the fourth word, gong bi.
It's a style reminiscent of traditional opera, and the band complements it with instruments like this yueqin, or moon guitar, this bowed instrument called a yehu, and this gong. And when combined with more modern sounds, like at this concert in Taipei, something entirely new is created. Blending past and present, tradition and modernity, they're singing an ode to Taiwan, not just for themselves, but for people across generations to enjoy. Scott Huang and Laurel Stewart for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, take a look at these competitors riding the waves at the 2023 Pan American Games Surf Finals. I'm Liao. Take care and see you next time.